very much. I cannot express how much happy I am here back at IIT and back at Techfest. And you can see that back wearing the Techfest t-shirt. Thank you all for giving me so much love, so much. Today I was seeing people standing in the queue outside and I remember my days. Today is Techfest 2014. I want to talk not about Techfest 2014, but I want to talk about Techfest 2001. 13 years before, I was also standing in those queues from a small town of Palanpur. I also came with a dream that I will go to IIT, I will go to Techfest, and I will compete against the best of India in a lot of competitions. I came here 13 years before with something like this in my hand, wearing some kind of small gadget on my hand. I very well remember that open hardware competition was there in 2001. What was this thing on my hand that I think many of you know? I literally took my computer mouse in those days, opened that computer mouse, took actually two of this kind of computer mouse, put together them in a different way, did some programming, some hardware, electronics, little bit, and created this glove that you can wear on your hand. Simple idea. But in those days, there were no this kind of technology available in India or any developing countries as per se. I never dreamed that I'd be wearing this on my hand this way and showing to the audience of IIT Techfest 2001. And a gentleman will come and talk to me. I was demoing this thing. What this gadget does, I can let you very quickly know that whatever movements you do with your hand, it replicates in the virtual world. It's very simple in nowadays. But a gentleman came and talking to me that time, and I never imagined in my life that our President, APJ Abdul Kalam, will come and spend half an hour with me. That made my day. And not only day, that made my whole of the life career. I was telling myself inside, after his half an hour discussion with me about my project, about my work, I was telling that the future starts today. Future is not tomorrow, it starts today, right? Okay, it starts. And I think I can definitely say that for all of you, you have to believe the future starts today. Today you competed in a lot of competitions. You won, you lost sometimes, but you learn a lot from each other. And that learning will take you ahead. That learning will be always with you. And that's where you remember that the future is starting that day. That day when I lost because of that mistake, but I just never made that mistake again. And that's why the future started that day. I won, and that's why the future started that day. Even Einstein has put it very nice way that I never think of the future. It comes very soon. So today, I want to show you a little bit about my journey. What happened after that day? I got to work with different cultures, different people, different laboratories in the world, different academias and companies. From that day, at that time I was in Mumbai Institute of Technology, Gujarat University in Ahmedabad. I was able to join IIT after that, and I'm very proud to be back in IIT campus for that. I got the chance to work in media like Asia, trying to help rural India with technology. Also started Microsoft India incubation team, where I thought, why can we not take technology and help in a corporate way to the publics of the India. Got a chance to work in Japan, where I was working on robotics. I also did some project with NASA, Google, UNESCO, CMU, to name a few. At present, I am the head of the research at Samsung. Why I am telling you all this thing? Because this experience of different fields, design, technology, entrepreneurship, gave me a niche, and that's what the experience is going to matter for you. But the beginning is there today. So I will start with this video. It was a funny commercial, but it was a great message that, and I think many of you already got it. But I think Carl Sagan has said it very nice way, that if you wish to make an apple pie from scratch, you must first reinvent or invent universe. Nothing happens from the scratch, right? It's already there, and you still need to keep going on and on and on and on to make it better. So this word invent is very tricky word. A lot of people ask me, oh, how to invent? How do we invent? Or how to be innovator? There is no formula or recipe to be innovator or something like that. So today I want to little bit focus on what is invent or how do we invent? And I don't think I know the answer. I have no answer for this particular question. But I can definitely give you an example that what I have seen with my colleagues and exploring different places. So if you ask this question that how do we invent? There are matters like accident, like just now we see in the video, accident happened. You found something like that, or Newton, the apple fall down and then he thought about something else. There can be need or necessity based innovations. Sometimes it is based upon solving your own problems. There is a problem I am facing, I need to solve this problem, and that's how you invent. You get inspiration sometimes, inspiration from each other, or inspiration from nature. You see a bird flying, and then you say, why can we not make a flying machine? And then you make an aeroplane. Or there can be a long-term vision, a desire to do something. And there can be multiple ways. These are not the only list. This can be go on and on. By different people, different word can be. For me, there was a word that always stuck to me from very beginning when I was a kid. From that time, I always liked magic. I always feel that how about this? How magical? I used to love watching magic shows, but at the same time, it's not only about magic shows, it's about how to bring that magic to real life. That was my desire, my vision. And if I show you this picture, if anyone knows what is this technology is all about? Anyone? In 1800, John Pepper was a magician, and he invented this particular method. It's called Pepper's ghost. You can go later online, internet, and search about this. There is a mirror over there. In 18th century, Pepper was using this particular technique to make people invisible on the stage. And if I recall you today, some of the latest technology that haven't even come in market, let's say Google Glass, uses exactly same technology that was there in 18th century used by John Pepper. The same prism that was reflecting the light at a particular distance and degrees. So what is happening about this magic? It was not magic, it's some kind of technology in some sense. So I would say this particular statement I will repeat after that from class, saying that any sufficiently advanced technology should feel like magic. That stuck to my mind. A technology that can feel like magic. I took it very literal. And let's say technology. If I say technology, what comes in our mind is this. Computers, laptops, smartphones in our pockets. All this thing is information technology. If I ask you when the tablets started, right? Information technology, we have tablets now. When did it start? Someone might say 5 years, 6 years, 3 years. I would say no. It started centuries before. In 5500 BCE, that was also a tablet, a clay tablet, right? Later, even if you go to some kilometers away from here, Mumbai, Ajanta, Ellora, you will find some paintings. That also is an information medium. I just visited China. In Xi'an province, there's terracotta warrior statues. These warrior statues are also telling us about the past. It's an information medium. Information technology is not 40 or 50-year-old field. This field is going on for I would say centuries. Only thing which is changing over here is the medium of that technology. Earlier it was sculptures, the paintings, the scripture, the Sanskrit scripture that you can see in our books written. That was also information technology. It was giving information to people in some case. But there was some constant change happening also in this medium. This particular book, a Bible, which was printed in 1400, somewhere around 1450, German engineer invented printing press, and that made the spread of the information possible. Now you can print multiple copies of these books. That was one of the largest and I would say the most prominent invention in information technology world. Then radio came. We started hearing the information. With the introduction of the television now, we can hear and see both. What is happening that if you carefully think that information medium is keep changing its home from statues, from books, to radios, to television, and then personal computer. Now we can interact with that information medium. Personal computers started becoming small and small, our laptops, and our smartphone that fits in our pocket. And as of now, at that moment we are talking about wearable technologies that you can wear on your hand and can interact with the cloud or the world of information in some sense. The future of the information mediums are keep coming, right? So I would say that this particular moment is very important. Our time of this particular century and in this particular years are very important. Why? Because I can bet that information is going to change its medium again. Today is a digital world. Tomorrow, no one knows. After 15 years, that might be a completely new world. And that's what I'm asking you, all of you, to explore, to innovate in that particular field, to rush and find what is that next information medium will look like. Someone might say it's cloud, right? Cloud is also information. In some cases, information is intangible. Let me try, if I can find a network over here, I can try to see something, that if I can show you something live. Okay, so I'm trying because of I'm depending on the cloud over here. So let's say it works. If it doesn't, then please forgive me for that. So I'm sure you're not able to see from this part what is this. I just open a YouTube page on my phone. I'm connected to the network. I'm connected to the cloud. I just open a YouTube page over here. I'm going to the search bar over there, and I'm searching, let's say, Techfest. Or maybe technologies. I searched word technologies in this one. So some videos came up. So there are a couple of videos I can scroll through. There is a Technologies 2013 promo. The first video is 2013 promo. Now what I'm doing is I'm looking towards you. I'm looking at my smartphone and I'm simply touching that. It is saying something that copying data. Yeah, it did, it finished. What it did, it copied that video in my hand, in my finger. Because I simply grabbed that video file and it now is in my finger. I'm not joking with you. This is not magic, this is technology. So now this finger containing that Technoholics 2013 video with me. So what I can do, I can simply go to my laptop computer, or let's say I have another device here. And it's not that I already copied this beforehand or something like that. I can open over here and say, I'm opening an application. I open a YouTube application. Okay. So let's see it works or not. So I'm trying to touch over here. It is saying it's pasting data. Something is coming up. It says Technoholics 2013 promo. And so today we are going to the Technoholics, the last session. I think it's going to be exciting. So you might ask what happened. It's pure technology. What is happening that the camera in my smartphone is actually knowing who is in front of me. So whoever is touching it, putting his nose, Pranav is in front of me. It's passing the data to my cloud, my personal cloud, because there's no one else's cloud. And when I'm now going to my tablet and again pasting that data, the tablet is knowing who is in front of me. It can be my friend's computer, it can be my TV. I want to show my mom a big video or pictures that I just took in my trip. I just copy that in my finger and I paste it back to the data, right? You don't need that USB thumb drive because your body becomes the USB thumb drive in some case. So this is just a simple example. We can keep going on this kind of thing, but let's focus on some of the newer words in some cases. So I just mentioned that we are on the verge of when the information is going to change this medium again. And that's what excites me. That's what started my journey of exploration. Some of the work that we have seen, but I will very briefly show you some of my journey in very brief, very fast in some way. When I was in India, the biggest problem that I see for technology was the language. Not for people who knows already English, but there are millions of the people in rural India where they cannot interact with digital world, not because they don't know how to computers. They can know computers, but the English is the language is the problem. So I started working in those days, I call it project officer. And I was the first person who made it possible for mobile phones, in those days mobile phones, to type any Indian languages. And that's what project officer looked like. You can type in multiple languages. And I will tell you one very small story around this. One time I was standing actually on Borivali station, the Borivali, the train station, the local train station over here. A guy standing next to me, he suddenly shows me his mobile phone, smartphone, like the old Nokia phones. And he's saying that, now you can type in Marathi. I cannot tell you that how happy I was. I didn't tell him that I did this thing. But that moment was here. So I would definitely tell you that technology is not all about making people's life better and better. Life is already better. It's also about enabling the billions of the people around you, the 2/3 of the other world. How can we bring technology to them to make their life better? That's the motto also, is a very important matter. You should definitely remember that. Another small invention happened. I always like watching cartoon networks on TV. My sister always liked watching sports. I know you guys know it's vice versa. But then, when I was in Palanpur, a small town, we always fight for remote. Like, who is going to watch what? I want to watch cricket and she wants to watch something else on the TV. I thought we can divide the screen into two parts of the TV. You can watch this side, I watch this side. But that's not the right solution because then you lose some pictures. This problem was always in my mind. Even when I went to MIT, this problem was always there, that I used to fight with my sister for this. Somehow I need to solve this, and one time I want to sit down next to her and then watch what she wants to watch, and I want to watch what I want to watch. Went back to MIT, my lab. I keep experimenting, and finally I innovated a new method that up to 5 people can watch different TV channels on the same screen at the same time.
Wow.
So many of the 3D TVs you see on your home right now, you can watch multiple channels. For example, Samsung and Sony provides this particular feature. It's done by me. Even at that time, imagine someone from Japan comes here in our Mumbai airport. He just wears this particular kind of glasses. In the future might be a Google Glass or other this glass. All the signages that he sees, he can see in his own language, right? So there is a lot of possibilities now you can do with this technology when multiple people can see different content on the same screen at the same time because you are doing time multiplexing over there, right? The innovation keeps going on and on. I also made this small project where I thought, why can we not use paper for connecting to the cloud? So someone writes some piece of paper, you automatically digitize this. Not only digitize, but artificial intelligence and natural language processing will understand that what you're writing on this piece of paper and do the effective thing. So if you write a to-do list, it automatically becomes a to-do list. You can search that where I kept this book, and it shows you that it's in second rack of your office, right? This kind of small explosion keep going on and made me start to believe that magic is possible. Magic is possible in real life. You can make a pen drawing 3-dimensional, yes, possible. So that I made a pen that now you can draw in 3D and you can contour that, windows or doors, whatever you want over it. I also thought in early 2004 that why can we not make Google Map? But Google Map is the physical world. So rather than searching coffee on my map and finding where is Starbucks or where is the next coffee store, I can just put my coffee cup and it will show me where is my coffee. Or you can put any object. You can put your metro card. Or let's say IIT ID. I put my IIT ID and it shows me when is my next class and where it is. So I need to run there. So it's very much possible to recognize physical objects, and that's what the earlier map, the physical map looked like. This was much before Microsoft even introduced Microsoft Surface Table. I keep going on, and I was working with Microsoft. That time, the hometown that I come from, Palanpur, there are a lot of rural area in that where the potters make actually potter wheel. They have potter's wheel. They rotate the wheel, they put some clay. I take Microsoft Surface Table that time. But what you see in the camera is actually Kinect camera. The earlier version of Kinect camera that was inside Microsoft Research. It is understanding my hand movements and I can sculpt any virtual parts. So this kind of small exploration I started keep doing. This project I worked in Japan. So what is happening that he is actually selecting an object and putting it somewhere else by just looking at it and blinking and selecting where he wants to put it. Like magic, you want to move this chair go here to here, that's all. How it's working, there is a laser, infrared laser, and there was a particular kind of technology we developed, it's called comic speech. It's very precisely understand your dreams, only intentional dreams, not the unintentional dreams. So this was simple technology. You might think that, oh, this is going to make us lazy, right? Because you don't need to get up from anywhere. But particularly this project was funded by Japanese government in order to help people with accessibility issues. People who cannot move their hands. And I can give you another problem to solve. Most of our interfaces with computing or computer world uses our hand. Touch screens, mouse, keyboards, gestures. You need your hand to move. Why can we not use other modalities? Something like speech or gaze, blinking, looking at something. Because when we talk to each other, we use all of this modality at the same time. So that was the exploration going on. I can keep going on, and I will show you one more project. I really love mouse, computer mouse, from very beginning. Anyone know when computer mouse was invented? Loudly.
1969.
Close. It was 63. So 1963, Douglas Engelbart sadly passed away last year, 2013. A great innovator. He invented computer mouse. Just imagine, 50 years before, or more than 50 years before, computer mouse was invented. Even today, we have touch screens and gestures and everything. What do? We put our laptop out, from backpack we get our mouse, computer mouse out and put it, right? So mouse is never going away, in some sense. I thought, why can the mouse not go away? Like, I want to take this challenge. Make Douglas Engelbart's mouse go away, in some sense. Not in literal sense, but then I thought, yes, hardware of the mouse can go away. We can make it invisible. And that's what I did in Project Mouseless. So what you're seeing, or maybe precisely saying what you're not seeing, is the computer mouse. You can put your hand just next to any laptop, any keyboard, and start using, thinking there is a computer mouse beneath that. It works exactly fine. You can do left click, right click, or when moving your cursor, all the operations that you do with a normal mouse. How does it work? There is a small infrared laser which is coming out from your laptop or the keyboard. It's making an invisible layer. It doesn't make a line or point, it actually makes a layer. And when you put your hand, that layer, you are breaking that layer. You are breaking that layer, and that is captured by the camera, which is an infrared camera, which can be really small in an actual product. So this is how simple mouse works. When I was working on this particular project, it was in MIT Media Lab. One of our sponsors of Media Lab, Fujitsu, a laptop manufacturer, is now actually planning to launch their laptops using this particular technology as a part of that. So, if I keep going on and on, what was happening in a lot of my research, and I can keep showing more, but let's break here and show some new work. Our personal computer and physical world was two different worlds in some cases. There's a physical world that we live in, there's a digital world. A lot of people try to mix them too by augmented reality, or we call it mixed realities, right? Microsoft Surface Table was letting you manipulate that information. It's still coming near. We started making smart objects, making physical digital together, putting silicon inside objects. Different approaches people started working on. But I thought that if we are interested in this digital world, the Twitter and the Facebook and the colorful circles in our computer, why can we not just focus on them rather than making another hardware? We just take those things, take the information, because information is intangible. You cannot grab it. You cannot say 5 kilogram of data or something like that, right? So we can take that information and paint those pixels around us. Simple, right? If I want to have information about something that I'm looking directly on object, then it will be fine. I don't need to get my computer out, my smartphone out, search for that. In order to do that, I thought of putting a projector. So projector projects lights. I thought of putting a projector on my head. And literally thought I will put a projector on my head. A friend of mine was making fun of me that, are you really going to do this thing? I said yes. Very next moment, I took the smallest projector in the market available, put a cut on top of my bike helmet, and put the projector over there. I also placed a small camera in front of me. Because what happened that as soon as I put a projector on my head and I'm going around, now I'm projecting information everywhere. If I'm going to a wall is showing some data, some information, some colors. I want to grab them, I want to touch them. So my camera started understanding what I'm doing because I wrote some software code, computer vision code to understand what I'm doing. A friend of mine, she was drawing on the wall, any wall. This started going more further and further. The projector started becoming smaller and smaller. It became in a cap rather than a bike helmet. It became a pendant. There are a lot of variations, a lot of iterations happen. And as many of you know, sixth sense device, so that it birthed from that crazy idea of putting a projector on your head. It keeps going on and on. I'm not going to show you again what the sixth sense device is all about because many of you are already aware of. But I will just show you very quick that now any object, any physical world can be augmented with data. Right? A coffee cup can show you that how much calorie you already consume in the day, whole day today. This is your third coffee. It can project information on any table when you are interacting in collaboration with many people. He was making a newspaper live, so you can see the live videos on the newspaper. This particular applications of technology where information is becoming part of the real world, that excites us, and that's where it's coming. Now you can see that we can start seeing real life products that is keep doing that. Our smartphone is doing augmented reality. Google is coming up with Google Glass, they might be doing augmented reality. Our Galaxy Gear, for example, can get project information or even see augmented reality data on top of that. So applications of particular this technology goes beyond what we can think of. But there is one fundamental innovation that I want to mention in today. Think carefully. If I say, this is my smartphone, like this is my particular big smartphone, right? If I ask you that, if I want to make my smartphone as small as a point, is it possible? Yes, technically there is no limitation. We can go to China, and there are a lot of manufacturers. We can ask them, make a smartphone as small as a point, 1 rupee coin. They can definitely do that. Technology, there is no limitation for those particular things. But the limitation is the human limitation. If we make our Android or iPhones as small as a point, we will not be able to use it. And that's why we are now going again bigger and bigger. So that's where an interesting thing happening, and that's what I want to tell you. With sixth sense and the innovation that I was working on, that limitation goes away. The device can go as small as invisible. In the future, it can be button that you wear somewhere. The button can be over here or wherever is part of that. Because your interface is as big as a newspaper, if you hold a newspaper. It's as big as a wall, if you stand in front of a wall. It's as big as your palm, if you dial a phone using your palm. More than that, because I had the DNA from this culture, I have seen the need of the technology to people in the mass audience. I didn't want to bring this technology to only one corporation that can make money around that. And specifically that reason I made this technology open source. And I think many of the even people from here, there are almost 25,000 people right now actively contributing to this particular open source code. What is happening after that? You might ask that, okay, show me an example of what happened after this technology. Today I bring one example, this particular example. This person his name is David. in Brazil. He's a friend of mine. He used himself this particular code, software code, open source code. You can find it on Google. You can just search 6 Sense open source and you will find the particular code. What he did is that he replaced the projector with a speaker. There was a projector, camera, there was a computing which connected to a mobile phone. He replaced that projector with simple $2 speaker. Now what he's doing that David cannot speak. David doesn't have voice. But David does sign language to talk to people. The problem is, I cannot understand his sign language. Now what is this modified 6 Sense device is doing, that David is doing sign language in front of this device. The camera is understanding his hand gestures, converting that into words, passing that to his mobile phone. And his mobile phone is connecting back to that speaker. So rather than a 6th sense, this is David's missing 5th sense. And that's where the technology power is. These are only some of the examples, and there are many of them. If you go to the open source code, you will find people sharing the videos of how they make projects, and you can learn from that a lot. But also myself, I started working on applying this particular technology in glasses. So one of this particular approach I applied in 2011. I made this augmented reality glasses. Of course, at that time it was bulky because the technology was not mature enough. But now we have a very thin version of this particular technology also. So what you're seeing over here is augmenting a magazine with a live data on top of that. So it's showing you that what is the price of this particular thing. And you can actually buy it by just touching it directly on top of it. So this was unfortunately I cannot show you the current version of these devices because of the IP issues of the corporations and stuff. But that technology is existing as a way right now. Before I move further, I want to show you that this approach of projection, of bringing pixels out to the real world, keep replicating to many of my colleagues, many of my friends in MIT as well as other departments in Japan, in Tokyo University. I would love to show some of the work that is done in collaboration with those people. there was not a single special effects or any kind of thing. This was a real short video of what the project was actually. There was two industrial robots which was holding the plates. There was cameras and projectors, which is precisely knowing where that my blank film is, and it's projecting. We call it projection mapping, the technology we particularly use in this particular technology. But you can see that magic is possible. In Indian mythologies, we have seen those magical palaces and all this kind of thing is possible. We can make it happen right away. But another thing started happening. On a lot of my work, I was augmenting the real world with visual data, right? Like I project information on top of that. If you hold a book, I can show you Amazon rating of that book on top of that. Or I can show you live video on a newspaper. Here, we are trying to project whole scenarios, whole world where objects are dropping, objects are popping up, it levitating in the real world. Then we started thinking that why can we not actually program the matter? Can physical world be programmed by us in some case? Can this chair transform into something else that I want to in some case? Or can in physical, rather than on computer screen I show some objects, why can we not actually create that in 3 dimensions? A friend of mine who was actually involved in this project the most, Daniel, he started working on this project, and I will show you that particular project. zero label. By the time of that is done, now you can move the matter. Now you can be either science fiction JDs or whatever the characters that you are imagining to be. But people didn't stop there. Still there is a limitation because this only comes screens from down and something. There is a limitation of that. A colleague of mine, Remy Post in Jinghali, they started thinking that why can we not make the physical object fly in the air? So I'm wearing today Newton's t-shirt, Newton Techfest t-shirt. They thought that why can we not defy gravity in some case? And they come up with this wonderful, simple idea. And that I would have to show you in a similar line of programming matter, the same thing of the theme that we all are working on the similar theme nowadays. And this is one of the work by them.
Zero is a physical and digital interaction element that floats and moves in space by computer-controlled magnetic levitation. Both the computer and people can move the zero in 3D space. Zero's movement can be digitally manipulated. For example, human gestures can be played back or rescaled in a physical form. A complex physics system, such as a three-body problem, can be simulated in front of you as a physical reality. It lets you directly put your hand into this 3D simulation space to manipulate its configuration in a tangible way. You can also change the orbit of a revolving planet, which will then change the velocity, confirming Kepler's law. Using the zero as a sum, you can simulate lighting up your own world on a small scale. Or create a 3D camera path for rendering virtual scenes of architectural models using zero as a camera. When you draw a 3D path in the air and release the zero, it is sent back to its initial position and then moved along the previously recorded 3D trajectory. A Hall sensor measures the position of zero every few milliseconds, and the electromagnet repels or attracts zero based on their distance. This levitator is being carried by the 3D mechanical actuator. The position of the zero and the user's hand is sensed by infrared stereo cameras that were built out of conventional webcams. And our long-term vision is to embed computation in physical materials that can directly interact with us. In this way, we seek to redefine the relationships humans have with materials, space, and digital information.
About magic. This is magic. This is technology, and that's what we are ready to see. In our generation, we are going to see these products out in market, and all of you are going to make that next step. Very last, in a similar line, very recent project from Tokyo University, a friend of mine, Jun Rekimoto, a respected professor from there, and Oichai, his student. The technology behind this is 1975, the standing wave levitation was there. In 2013, the variable wave levitation was there. But this particular team, they made the 3D standing wave very recently. So not only that magnet one ball, but you can put multiple objects, which is really literally flying in the air. and you can manipulate them the way you want. What is happening is that there is 4 arrays of ultrasound speaker system. They are creating a 3D area, and it's literally defying the gravity. The standing waves are defying the gravity. Here you can see the dry ice. If you use the dry ice, it shows you the trajectories of the standing wave. So they are putting any components, let's say a symbol. So this is taken at 4,000 frames per second using camera. That's how it looks like in a slow motion. I heard that the material, any kind of material can be placed over that. There is a wood piece, a matchstick, part of the matchstick, a screw, a piece of plastic, or even a water droplet. So there is a water droplet flying in the air, and you can precisely control where you want that water droplet in the air. This is a great technology. They are all excited about how can we make our physical world as interactive as our digital world. My approach was about projection, and I started working on physical part, and many of the other projects that you've seen in a similar line. Recently, I also started working in Samsung. I'm the head of the research for Samsung, and I work with experts from different fields. This is a small portion of the ninja teams that we have over there. And one of the products that we just launched several months before, I will show you one of the very quick video about it.
Tracy calling in our homes. Go ahead, Tracy. Now, Roy, you're a genius. A regular chip off the old block. Come on, son.
Kid, call the police and have them figure it out.
Right away, Michael.
Giant robot! Put your laser ray on that tower! Uncle Gadget may be in trouble.
Bones, you and Sue to the transport room. The rest of you with me. We have a job to do.
That's Samsung Galaxy here. It was a lot of learning from giving an idea, taking an idea from all the way from paper to your mind to bringing it to real market. There's a lot of challenges and there's a lot of learning. And I can only say about what is the next coming, and I cannot disclose more details about that. But keep your eyes open. In 2 or 3 months, there's something more exciting coming into market, which is our work, my work in some case. With that, I would again come back to that slide, that how do we invent? Is it an accident? Is it need or necessity? Is it solving problems, inspiration, vision, desire to do something? Or all of that? But it can be something completely different. And I would say that yes, the answer is all of them. It can be something else, something that strikes you. Today I want all of you, all of those students came from different universities, even from IIT, to think, what is that drives me? For me it was magic. There was no formula or recipe. There was magic. The love to magic. I wanted to make things magical, and that's what happened. And I would say that I'm proud that I'm at 13 years before that day, that person, APJ Kalam, he taught me one word, that the future is now. That word is with me right now. And I want all of you to make the future is today. Your future is today. I would say one sentence about that, that it is by logic that we prove, but by intuition we create. Einstein had said a nice word. He said that the world we have created is the product of our thinking. It is like this, it cannot be done, or it's already done, or something like that. But he said that the world that we have created is the product of our thinking. And it cannot be changed without changing that thinking. So think big. Find what is the replacement, what is that word like magic for me, what is your word for making that future starts today. I wish 12 years from now or 13 years from now, all of you come here and give this lecture that I am giving right now. I wish best for you.
Knowledge with us and inspiring us. We now proceed to an interactive session with sir. Due to unavoidable time constraints, we can entertain only 3 questions, and please keep your